Hi guys, today I wanted to discuss a topic that everyone has experienced, and no doubt you might experience it again while there's a bunch of sales going on at the moment, and that is clothing regrets, things that you have purchased. Maybe you got an amazing deal on it, but now you're looking at your wardrobe and there are so many items in it that don't go together very well, or maybe they're falling apart. And that's because a lot of times when we only shop for what's trending, what's thrown in our face, what's on sale, that then your whole collection can start to be overwhelming and not suit the frustration points that you need to solve on a daily basis. So I'm going to walk you away from all of those regrets today and go through what I hear the most as the sticking points from everyone in this community and in my own experience. I think that the overarching theme is regarding cost. That is what is the biggest pain point for people when it comes to a personal style for trying to develop a wardrobe. And there's no getting around the fact that clothing is expensive. If you are going to create the perfect wardrobe, what does that look like for yourself? But how can you avoid the cost of that without just falling into sales traps? So I have 3 regrets that I want to go over today in my notes that are the most common when it comes to building a personal style, things that people always regret. And the first one is buying things without a plan. So it's really important to, when you are going through your wardrobe and you're picking out your outfit for the day and you feel like something is missing, you're not going to remember it later. So it's really important to write down that there is something missing in your wardrobe. Make this list on your phone so you can take it with you wherever you go, and then you can buy that item on purpose later. You can also make note of what you have too much of, so that when another sale comes upon you, you don't buy another blank white tee or whatever it is that you want to say that you have too many of. You don't want to fall into another trap of buying another one, to where it's taking up too much of your wardrobe budget and space. So be mindful of that, but I don't want to encourage you not buying the things that you need a lot of. So it's kind of a balance you have to discover for yourself. So it is important to also go through and, of course, like pin to Pinterest, figure out things that do match your personal style on there. But not only that, take note of the things that are patterns inside it. Like, what are the colors, fabrics, things that have a lot in common with each one of those images, to where you could pull out something about your personal style in it. But don't just stop there. If you've taken my personal style course, there's so many notes inside it that you build that it's like now you can discover the different things that you exactly love and need. So it's really important to create a plan for yourself, and that will guide you so much away from the things that are expensive regrets or things that you did not buy without a plan. Building on that idea, once you have a plan, it's important to create some sort of budget for yourself, but within that budget, plan on what will cost more, because not every item costs the same amount. Obviously, a coat is going to cost a lot more than a t-shirt, and so it's important to put your money in the correct things. You don't want to spend so much money on things that you could find more affordable than others that just naturally take up bigger chunks of your budget. So you sort of want to like prorate each item in your budget and make sure that you are spending the right amount on those things. There are 4 major things that I always say will move the needle in your budget, in your wardrobe, and those are high quality shoes, bags, outerwear, and pants. If you are investing in those items, people will notice at how great the quality is. They will give you more compliments as you are walking by them, like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing bag. Look at those shoes. Look at that coat. Like, these are things that people will notice. Or the right pair of pants that fit you perfectly will be so great. And so what does that look like? For me, one of my favorite quotes, I absolutely love the book Dress Codes. A lot of the content that I actually create on this channel comes from books. I sort of geek out when it comes to style and trying to discover the timeless ways that people have found what works for the building the best wardrobe. And so the book Dress Codes says, I have the quote here. Indeed, the opinion that one can most readily distinguish a well-dressed person by his or her footwear survives to this day. So for centuries, someone's footwear is the way that someone tells someone who is dressed really nicely. And I think that we know that. Like if someone is dressed in shoes that have just a specific style to them, then you know that this is something that is elevated. And even if the rest of the outfit was bought for like really cheap, like $5 shirt or whatever, it doesn't matter because the shoes are so well done that the whole outfit could have been very expensive. The shoes are so critical. And also another place to look out for is outerwear, bags, and bottoms. And so when I'm looking for the right pair of pants, I know that the top will be perfect if the pants are perfect with it. So it's really essential to establish these things. There are a few pairs of pants that I've purchased along my journey with style. Elizabeth Suzanne silk trousers are staples for me. And as are the Donnie pants. I've recently discovered them and I've loved styling them this year. And then Jessie Cam jeans. If I'm going to wear jeans, I love her fit. So if you find a good fit and a good fabric, somebody who's going to make the perfect pair of pants for you, it's okay if you own a few of them and they take up more of your budget than having a bunch of things that just don't quite fit right, but you got them on sale or you saw someone else style them and they don't really suit you. A lot of people are wearing barrel jeans right now. And I've seen some people wear them and I'm just like, I think they're following a trend versus honoring what works for them in a specific way. So you sort of have to discover that with trial and error for yourself. But if barrel jeans are your thing and they look amazing on you, then maybe this trend is something that could last much longer for you personally. Another thing when going back to styling shoes, for me, a heeled ankle boot like these ones from Paris, Texas, I fell in love with this style maybe a year ago, and I loved them so much that it felt like they haunted me. And so I loved them in this color, this shade, and so I've gotten them in another one in an ivory with this steel toe. I've also got a couple of pairs that I bought before the steel toe that are in very neutral shades that I know will last me a long time. So these are more splurges, and I definitely am tempted when a new seasonal color comes along. But what's great about this is that I know I personally will wear them for years because it is a trend, but it's also something that has suited me for years. When I've purchased things in the past regarding heeled boots, some of them were not to the quality that I needed them to be for the amount of wear I used. And then also they might not have been a color that matched as much in my wardrobe. And I love how these are fitted around my ankle, which works for my body style. There's different reasons why this is an exact boot for me. And so now I'm more interested in having fewer, better shoes. I have wasted so much more money on trying a bunch of different shoes that I then can't return or whatever, that just really haven't moved the needle for me in my budget. And I totally regret those ones versus getting another shade of these perfect boots for me. So that's a really important note when considering that. So that first regret is not having a plan when things go on sale. The next one was not investing in the correct items. So it's really important to have those budget lines associated to how much something might cost realistically. And then the next one is what I like to call a statement basic. Of course, it's really great to have statement pieces in your wardrobe. It's also absolutely important that everyone has an essentials capsule. Some people call it capsules. But your basics collection is so important to preserve. You want these pieces in your basics collection to be things that you're going to use all year long and possibly for years to come. So that perfect pair of jeans that you have, or some very basic tops that you're going to be able to style with anything, or maybe that perfect like black dress that everyone needs in their wardrobe for whatever occasion. These are times to not mess around with making them into statements. You will waste a lot more money if you are trying to reinvent your style on these basics, things that are ever-changing, maybe trend-based, things that are in today, gone tomorrow. And now that money that you have invested into your basics is not suiting you, it's not matching other items in your wardrobe. And so it becomes this struggle. And you might not find that any of it really suited you to begin with because you've spent so much money dabbling in styles that should have been in a more dabbly item in your wardrobe. So what I define as a dabbly item is something that is seasonal. Seasonal items are wonderful for exploring your personal style and different colors, patterns, fabrics, and cuts that suit you. And if you end up not loving that style very long, then you can just store it away, see how you feel about it the next time that fall rolls around. And what's beautiful about that is now you're able to see if something was just how you felt in that moment when, in my experience, like if the leaves start changing, how do I feel about things like rich reds and oranges or maroons, things that I would never ever wear in like early spring. And so this is a way for me to discover what my true tastes are, things that I love to wear, not only from a taste perspective, but what naturally suits me and the colors that look good on me or make me look my best or the cuts that look my best. These are things that you can dabble in very inexpensively for the most part in just keeping them seasonal. I not only do this with my wardrobe, but in my house too. So if you're going to decorate your whole house and you've got maybe a new inheritance that someone has given you, and you're like, I'm going to decorate my whole house. Do not switch out your very timeless, essential things that are expensive, like a couch, for something that is so out there, trendy, of the moment, because you will regret it. And so the same goes for your wardrobe. So your most classic trench coat or your most basic pair of jeans that look so good on you, don't touch these. But you might add a belt or a beanie or a scarf or a sweater. These are things that you can start to look into for yourself on what works for you naturally and what suits you down to your bone. And then from there, you might discover new things that you can do with your statement pieces or your basics in the future that you can start investing in more without regrets. So hopefully the idea of statement basics makes sense. It's basically when people try to infuse statement items into those basics where you could go wrong and regret things on a very deep level, on a financial level. So I'm here to protect you in that. I have my heat turned off at the moment so I could tape this without any annoying sounds. So I'm going to wrap this up because you can hear in my voice I'm like a little cold. So happy winter. I'm going to post as many times as I can. I've set a goal for myself this month and I don't want to let anybody down. So I'm going to keep it to myself, but I do have a goal on posts. So don't forget to subscribe and you won't miss a post from me. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dearly Bethany. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.